Today we're going to talk about the group HANA. Unfortunately, due to lack of time, I haven't been able to keep up with them. I'm exclusively a fan of XD, but I wish I could follow other groups as well, and unfortunately I just can't. But HANA, from the little I've seen, it's simply unbelievable what I hear about their performances. This song, I just watched a small clip. If I'm not mistaken, I saw the post-show where Shamina had posted a story filming the stage. And I heard the beginning of this song and thought it was spectacular. One of them, I think it's Tika, who does the beginning, and I was blown away. And this is the second time I'm going to watch this performance. Here on YouTube, because a subscriber of mine sent me the link to this video, I watched it and saw that it was from that performance, and I couldn't resist. I watched the whole thing. And now I'm going to watch it for the second time, so with you all, so we can analyze a bit technically what they delivered, but it was something of a very high level. So let's watch Mosca Tiger here. Right from the very start, she's Chika. Please forgive me if I happen to get the name slightly wrong. She already clearly shows something that I always consistently insist K-pop singers should possess and truly have, and yet very, very few actually do. To be completely honest, I've only ever heard one or perhaps two singers genuinely do it, but it's the incredible drives. She frequently uses this particular technique, and not just her, other talented girls do as well, showcasing their impressive vocal abilities. And it's interesting because it already shows a great command, both of the basics of vocal technique, because this technique is actually a bit more advanced and requires a strong technical foundation. And she already uses it right at the beginning. She already has a bit of an Arabic feel. She transitions quite smoothly from a strong, powerful voice with impressive belting to a lyrical head voice perhaps, or even a delicate falsetto. Very sweet. Perfect, impeccable. This beginning, this is a drive. The first one she did when she started is a different kind of drive. So she really shows a lot of technical mastery because she knows how to use different types of the same technique. And here she went into a high register with an extremely perfect belting. There's nothing to criticize. The voice is very distinct from what you usually hear in J-pop in general, even in J-rock, although it's still not a westernized voice. She maintains the uniqueness of her Japanese voice, but with a very Western technique. Doing the phrasing like a blues. A spectacular belting in the high register. Impeccable and precise register changes, all executed delicately and with great care, seamlessly flowing from one to another, and this remarkable blend of an authentic Arabic melody with something truly resembling the soulful blues. Here she moves from a high register to a low register, so she goes from mixed voice, or actually a head voice in a lyrical register, and then drops down to a slightly glottal chest voice, which brings the charm that this piano, which just came in, really introduced. So it fit really well for her to bring it into this more glottal region. Nasopharynx, which gives this characteristic a voice that's a bit more in the cheeks. This one here is the first on this side. I think it's Koharu. She does open vocals, more closed vocals, changing the resonance, a sonic characteristic, making the voice sometimes more metallic, sometimes more rounded. And that's a great technical mastery. You have no idea how complex it is to do that. She also goes from a mid to low register, bringing a very full-bodied, quite metallic voice. Despite this somewhat metallic quality, she consistently maintained that rich fullness, because sometimes the Oriental voice does tend to become quite nasal, rather metallic, and often gets stuck in that lower, resonant region. No, she had her voice projected very clearly in the mask. All of them possess this remarkable characteristic of changing resonance quite easily and in relatively short passages. Precisely according to what the lyrics truly require, she skillfully makes the necessary change. Where exactly does that come from? From the chimney, of course. This is what the chimney does all the time. The work the chimney did with these girls is spectacular. And there are 7 chimneys here, with different characteristics, because each of them has her own unique timbre. And that truly brings a tremendous amount of freedom and a wonderful richness to all of the beautiful songs that they passionately sing. And it's a very high technical level that I don't find in any other K-pop group. And I dare say, not even in Mamamoo. I don't see this level even in Mamamoo. She uses a technique that's really much more complex. Her high notes are impressive, but where she really shows her technique, and this goes for every singer, it's in the lower registers, it's in the low regions where she demonstrates her technique the most. Here in this whole line she did, it's hard for me to keep stopping to show each of the details. Since I'm not a pop singer, I don't have mastery of these techniques. I don't know how to demonstrate them for you, so the right thing would be for me to perform them so you could understand. But she does it all the time, as I mentioned earlier. With every phrase, depending on what the lyrics are saying, she changes her register. And when she moves to a lower or higher register, she opens and closes the vowels more, changes the resonance opening and the vocal quality, bringing more brightness, more roundness, less nasalization, denasalization. She did all of that here. It's very complex. It's a lot of vocal quality, a lot. Her low notes are spectacular. Very good. Coming in with the nasopharyngeal voice, very typical of the blues. I think that in the previous analysis I did with the group, I mentioned that she also mostly uses this more mid-range voice, which is placed in the cheek, so it's frontal. It can be more or less nasal. And in her case, no, she really places it in the cheek, not allowing the nasality, which is a tendency among Asians. And it's a voice that she throws either here in the glottis as well, pulled back, but it's projected, it's impeccable. Jisoo, please forgive me if I got the name wrong, but I think it's Jisoo, brought a different characteristic from what the other girls had been presenting so far. So she came with that characteristic that's really thrown entirely into the nose and metallic, which is Japanese, the characteristic of the Japanese, East Asian, Oriental voice. They create a caricature, they draw not only in terms of the melody being sung, but also in the use of vocal registers. So it becomes something quite exaggerated and really shows what the lyrics and melody are trying to convey. This one already did a voice, very focused on the vocal, centered here. It's also a voice that's quite metallic, different, if I'm not mistaken, from what she did before. And I don't know if she came before or not. Forgive me, but different from what all of them do, like what Jisoo did in the metallic nose. She did the metallic sound, but focusing on the vocal, on the mouth. Like Koharu just did now. Now she lowered her voice, which before she had done higher. Now she brought it down and placed it a bit in the glottis, pulled her voice back, actually, without losing the glottal voice characteristic. She kept it vocal and metallic. Now this girl is Momoka. She was using her voice just now, a technique, classical. So belting, a well-projected frontal voice throughout the entire phrase she sang. So she didn't add that coloring, making things more caricatured like they've been doing throughout the whole song. Here it was already a high register and she brought power, that's why she used belting. She did a transition into a beautiful falsetto, which was almost like a yodel, but she's in this whole lovely middle range here with a very well-controlled mixed voice, and then she gracefully goes into falsetto, returns with a very airy and delicate falsetto, and she did it all with a great deal of exquisite delicacy. She's using a voice with belting activated, so she's in a mix with belting. It's very metallic with a lot of volume. And at some moments, she's also adding drive. So here I noticed that there are about 3 or 4 girls who use drive. Now, at the end here, Momoka did it with a different voice than the one she had played with earlier. So her voice was frontal, belting, just like the other girl I mentioned had done. So you can see the change in characteristics they make. It's spectacular. That's something that's a bit lacking in K-pop. I can't say for J-pop. But having distinct and separate moments for the lead singer to sing their vocals and for others to perform their dance routines. She possesses a distinctly different approach to her high notes. When she performs, she consistently employs a powerful belting technique, ensuring that she keeps her voice strongly projected and resonant throughout her performance. However, it is crucial to note that she deliberately chooses not to transition her voice into a lighter, more ethereal head voice, maintaining a consistent and robust vocal delivery. So she leaves the belting completely frontal and not so much in the forehead. It's a bit more vocal, lower. Even though it's completely placed in the mask, when you use this technique, the characteristic of her voice is to have a vocal direction. Normally, when you do belting, you're using the whole mask and going into head voice when you reach the highest notes. She, even at the highest extremes, tends to direct it toward the vocal region. This gives her voice a unique quality. It makes her voice have a rather unique timbre. I don't know if she's able to change that or not, but she has this characteristic. So her voice will always it will always imitate a scream, it will always sound very aggressive when she hits those high notes. It's very unique to her. Now Jisoo is placing it in the nose. simply spectacular. This is truly the highest quality performance I have ever heard among all the various Asian musical groups, showcasing exceptional talent and remarkable artistry. And live too. This particular sound undoubtedly has undergone some significant post-production work, but certainly nothing like extensive pitch correction or any kind of note correction. It's abundantly clear that the authentic sound coming out is directly from the microphone, and we've already heard in numerous other live performances that they genuinely and consistently do this. In actual fact, they possess this remarkable technical complexity and skill. They show this even when they're dancing. But here, what we distinctly heard were J-pop singers. In other words, these talented individuals perform both energetic dance routines and impressive singing, but they are such truly spectacular vocalists that if you have them simply sing without the accompanying dancing, they genuinely show their exceptional and true quality. And many within the K-pop and J-pop scene would have this, they have this ability. I truly don't really know why the companies don't particularly like this, but there absolutely have to be moments when the singer can truly show off and the group, in fact, can indeed sing together without dancing. Because after all, they're not just dancers, they're primarily singers first before they're essentially dancers. So for me, the best group in Asia in terms of vocal technique, without a doubt. Even though I'm an exclusive fan of XG, without a doubt, these girls here are the best group I've ever heard in terms of vocal performance, and with a unique quality that's not very common. It's distinct from what you hear here in the West even, so extremely high level, my congratulations. One of the most spectacular things I've ever seen. I really haven't seen any other group like this. Congratulations to the group HANA, to all the girls, and to Shamina, who turned these girls into true diamonds of music. What they do is unbelievable. Truly my congratulations. So if you enjoyed this analysis, leave your comment down below and your like as well. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and consider giving some financial support down below in the first pinned comment through the PayPal link or by clicking the super thanks button. Alright? See you next time.